Hello, my dear students. In this video, we will be learning about carbon and its compounds. Okay, so it is very interesting topic. Let's get started. Before we start, we should know what is carbon. Okay, we are all familiar with this word carbon. It's an element of periodic table. And what is the symbol of carbon? It's C. And its atomic number in the periodic table is the sixth element. Okay. Then the valency rate of carbon is 4. That means it is tetravalent element. Okay. That means what is the meaning of valency? Okay, we will be discussing about it later. It means it says that it can form 4 covalent bonds. Okay. We already studied what is a covalent bond. Next. Carbon is a non-metal. In our previous classes, we learned that found abundantly in the Earth's crust. The what is crust? Crust is the outermost layer of the Earth, and it also atmosphere in many forms. Okay, we are getting carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, etc. They all are the form of carbon. Okay, and then it has a unique ability to form long chains and rings of compounds due to its catenation property. Now, it is capable to form long chains. Chain means in terms of bonding. Okay, now let us proceed further. Now, catenation. What is catenation? Now, it shows the capability of a carbon that how it can bond with other carbon atoms. Okay, means how it can actually bond with other carbon atoms. How like this it will be bonding and bonding to form long chains, sometimes branched structures, or sometimes it may be rings. This property, along with tetravalency, allows carbon to form an incredibly large number of compounds, making it the basis of organic chemistry. Okay, here a new term came which is all about the organic chemistry. Whatever we are studying about now is all about our organic chemistry. In organic chemistry, the main element is our carbon. Okay, now what are the examples of carbons? Okay, in terms of organic chemistry, if we will talk, the first type of carbon could be the alkanes, where there is single bond between C and C, two carbon atoms. Where it tells about alkene, then it is two bond, and if it is alkyne, then triple bond. Okay, now what is tetravalency? Valency of 4. Okay, now tetravalency means the word tetra refers to the number 4. Okay, and what is valency? Valency rate is the rate that shows that how many electrons are there of an element in its outermost cell. We can conclude the valency of a particular element by doing its electronic configuration. Okay, now if we configure the element carbon, then we'll get 1s2, 2s2 and 2p2. Okay, now in the K shell we are having two electrons. Okay, and then L cell which shows the number 2. Okay, where S and P are there 2 and 2, means totally there are 4 electrons in the L shell. Okay, so among them, according to the definition, we can know that the outermost shell is the L shell, and hence we can tell that the tetravalency, the number of electrons, how many electrons? The 4 electrons. So according to the definition, the valency rate of carbon should be 4. Then now what it needs? Actually, carbon needs 4 more electrons. Why? To achieve a stable octet configuration. Now what will happen when the carbon will achieve the stable octet configuration? No more it will be a particular element under any group. Directly it will become a actually inert gas. Okay, then tetravalency means it says that carbon can form 4 covalent bonds. Okay, not 1, not 2, 4 covalent bonds. We all know what is the meaning of covalent bond. Now this says that the equal sharing of electrons along the elements, okay, to achieve stability. Then, including other carbon atoms also. Here it is said, if one carbon is there, it may also form a bond with other carbon atoms, making it capable of creating a vast range of compounds. Many compounds can be formed due to this covalent bond property of carbon. Let's proceed further. Types of bonds. We studied about the tetravalency of carbon and also that it can form how many bonds and all these things. Now we will know about the types of bonds. Okay, the bond means getting joined with each other generally, literally. Okay, carbon primarily forms covalent bonds where it shares its electrons with other atoms to achieve stability. As I taught you this one. Then the first type of bond is single bond where it represents the single line between two elements. Now, what are the applications of single bond? That is the longest and the weakest of three types of bonds. Okay, means single bond is the longest bond, but it is the weakest bond. Then the second one is double bond. However, it is shorter but stronger than the single bonds. Okay, it is represented by the double line. Okay, the triple bond means it is the shortest and the strongest bond between the carbon atoms. Okay, so this was all about the types of bonds. Then covalent bonding with other elements. Here is a summary for you. Carbon can form its covalent bond with what elements? Okay, what are the elements by which can bond with carbon? Okay, the first one is hydrogen. Whenever hydrogen reacts with carbons, it forms hydrocarbons. Okay, example CH4, which is methane, C2H6, which is ethane, then oxygen forms compounds like alcohols, which is ROH. Okay, the suffix that should be added is H. Now, what is R? R is the alkyl group or the functional group. Okay, then the carboxylic acids, which is R, where R should be actually R refers to radical or rust. Okay, it is derived from it. Okay, now we are using the letter R as a variable. Okay, then the suffix is COOH and esters and nitrogen. Here, see, the carbon can also bond with nitrogens to form amines, nitrils and amides. Okay, then halogens. Now, what are halogens? Halogens are the groups where only four elements are there. Okay, in halogens, only four elements are there. In this type of groups, usually the last, when we configure these elements, the last number that we'll find is the seven. Okay, means they are having one atom or one electron shorter to achieve the octet or to become inert gas. In this term, we'll find fluorine, chlorine, bromine, and iodine. Okay, then allotypes of carbon means what are the usually what are the types of carbon? Okay, the first form of carbon is diamond. We all know about diamond. It is too costly, is that it? Then each carbon atom is covalently bonded to four other in a tetrahedral structure, making it extremely hard and a good insulator. Now, when a carbon becomes diamond, when it covalently bonds four other uh, four other elements, okay, in tetrahedral structure means usually in a quadrilateral structure, okay, making it extremely hard. Okay, it should be too strong and it should be the best conductor. I mean the best insulator of heat, and it may be also of electricity. Then the graphite. Carbon atoms are arranged in layers with weak forces between them, allowing them to slide over each other. Graphite is a good conductor of electricity. Okay, now what is graphite? We are using graphite in our day-to-day life, which is we are using graphite in pencils. Now, whenever we sharpen the pencil, you might have noticed that the layer by layer, they will be replaced or they will come out. Okay, they will break too easily. That's why they are arranged in a weak force. They are arranged with weak forces among them, and they can also slide upon each other. Then, fullerence. Okay, now what is fullerence? Carbon atoms form spherical or cylindrical shapes. Now, fullerence. Okay, whenever carbon forms spherical or cylindrical shape, then only it will become a fullerene. Okay, yeah, example is given. You can see Buckminster fullerene. Then the allotropes of carbon can be divided in the basis of two types. The first one is the crystalline form. The second one is the amorphous form. In the crystalline form, you will find the carbon as diamond, graphite, fullerene, and graphene. In the amorphous form, you will find carbon as coal, charcoal, coke, lamp black, and gas carbon. Okay, now what are the types of carbon compounds? The first carbon compound is hydrocarbon. We read about it whenever the carbon uh, actually bonds with hydrogen. It forms hydrocarbons. Now, here it says the compounds consisting of only carbon and hydrogen. Okay. Now, again, the hydrocarbons are divided into two types. The first one is the saturated hydrocarbon. The second one is the unsaturated hydrocarbon. In the terms of saturated hydrocarbon, we can find alkanes. Okay, alkanes. And these are the single bonds between the carbon atoms. The general formula is Cn. In place of N, you can add any numerical value. And if you have added something in the place of N near C, then you have to apply the formula with H also. That is 2n plus 2. Let us take a small example. Here, the example is given methane. Okay, in place of methane, uh, methane here it says that C equals to 1. Okay, 1 we never show it. Okay, however, if we take the 1 in place of C, then H equals to 2 multiplied by 1. Okay, that is 2 plus 2 equals to 4. CH4, that is methane. We got it. Then ethane. Like in the similar manner, other examples are also there. So the second type of carbon compound, as I told you, it is the unsaturated hydrocarbon. It includes alkenes and alkynes. In the place of alkenes, you can tell that these are the compounds where at least one double bond is there. In the alkyne word refers to a compound where at least one triple bond is there. Okay. Now alkenes. A general formula is CnH2n. Example is ethene. Okay. In place of C, if you will add 2, then in the place of H, you will get 2 multiplied by N. That is 2 multiplied by 2 equals to 4. Hence, we got ethene, which is C2H4. Then alkyne. A general formula is CnH2H equals to 2n minus 2. Okay. The example is ethyne. Okay. Other examples are also there. Then the other compounds, carbon compounds are alcohols and carboxylic acids. Now, what are alcohols? Organic compounds where a hydroxyl group, that is minus OH, is bonded to a carbon atom. Example, ethanol. Okay. Alcohol. Okay. The suffix ol will be added. Ethanol, which is C2H5 and OH. And then carboxylic acids. Organic acids containing the carboxyl group, which is COOH. Example is, the best example is our vinegar, which is acetic acid. The formula is, the chemical name is CH3COOH. The others are the aldehydes and ketones. Organic compounds containing the carbonyl group, which is C double bond O. Okay. First one it says aldehydes. Here the carbonyl group is at the end of the carbon chain. Okay. But when we talk about ketones, it is in the within the carbon chain, in the middle of the carbon chain. Okay. Here you can see the place of carboxylic acids. You will find that COOH as the suffix were already there. You can see C, then OH element is there, and also C is double bonded with O. In place of aldehyde, you will see that the COH compound we will find at the end of the carbon chain. But while we will talk about ketone, then it is in the middle of the carbon chain. Then here is a summary table for you. Here you will find the name of the series. Okay, then what are the compounds are there. Then you will find the general formula, and you will find two examples. The first one is the homolog 1 and the homolog 2. Okay, you may refer to it. Now, what are the chemical properties of carbons? The first chemical property is combustion. This reaction involves burning of carbon compounds to release carbon dioxide, water, and large amounts of energy in the form of heat and light. Combustion may be complete or incomplete depending on the availability of oxygen or air. Okay, here it says that combustion, the burning of carbon compound refers to combustion. Now, here the another important point that it shares is that it may be complete or incomplete. It always it is based on the availability of oxygen, because whenever oxygen is there, if oxygen is there, then only burning is possible. Then here is a combustion reaction given for you. CH4, which is methane, when it is burnt or mixed with oxygen, then we will find carbon dioxide and release of water along with large amount of energy and light. Okay, then addition. This reaction involves the addition of hydrogen atoms over the double or triple bonds of an unsaturated hydrocarbon. The presence of the catalyst, nickel, which the catalyst may be the nickel or the palladium, to form saturated hydrocarbons. Here now, what is catalyst? Now, it is anything, okay, it may be any substance which helps in the reaction, or it increases the rate of chemical reaction without being reacted. Okay, it does not get any result, but still it increases the chemical reactions rate. You can see example is there, CH2 double bonded with CH2. We will find C2H4 plus H2, the hydrogen in its gaseous form. Here, the catalyst that we will found is the nickel. You will get C2H6. Okay, then the another property is substitution. In this reaction, an atom or a group of atoms of a compound are replaced by some other atom or group of atom. Okay, here a substituted. Okay, CH4 plus Cl2 gives rise to CH3Cl plus HCl. Okay, here you can see the chlorine compound. There were two chlorine compounds, and this was shared among them. One given to CH3, another was given to the hydrogen compound. Then the another chemical property is esterification. It is the reaction between an alcohol and an acid to produce a smooth swelling uh, compound called ester. It is a reversible reaction. Means this reaction can be again reversed. Okay, that means we can again obtain the reactants. Example is given. You can see oxidation. When there is an addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogen in a reaction, it is known as the oxidation reaction. The compounds which bring about oxidation uh, are known as oxidizing agents. Okay, that means they are the agents for the process of oxidation. Then Importance of carbon compounds. What is the importance of carbon compounds? Carbon compounds are the basis of organic chemistry and are essential for life. Carbon forms the backbone of biomolecules like carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, and nucleic acids. Generally, these things are present in our body. Okay. Carbon compounds are also used in fuels, medicines, polymers like plastic, dyes, and more. Okay, that means you can see there's a vast use of carbon compound, and it is also a vast use and to form many type of compounds in even organic chemistry. Now here we will discuss about a small thing that is all about soaps and detergents. Now, soaps and detergents are carbon based compounds. Okay, they are also related to the carbons with a long hydrophobic water repelling tail and a hydrophilic water attracting head. Okay, you might have ever noticed the behavior of a soap. Okay, whenever we want, you can tell that whenever we want that foam, okay, whenever the soap is mixed with water, then only we will be getting the foam. And whenever we will have it in the water again, when we will dip the cloth which is filled with foam of the soap, and when we will dip it in the water again, it will repel the water, and finally the foams will be repelled out with the dust that were in the cloth. Okay, now in water soap molecules form micelles where the hydrophobic tails trap oil or dust, and the hydrophilic tails remain in the water, allowing the dust to be washed away, as I told you. Thank you, students. Have a nice day. Please subscribe our channel.